I'm here with Anna Maria head baseball coach, Dan Brion. I appreciate you joining me. And without further ado, we'll just jump right into it. My first question for you, as a former player yourself, do you feel like you gained personal experience within baseball that helps you in the recruiting process at all?
Yeah, it's just going through it personally, like being recruited and, figuring out that process, trying to find the right fit. For me personally, I think that's definitely really helped now, like when I'm trying to go out and recruit and build a team and identify the guys that'll be a good fit for the type of program we want to be.
Awesome. Yeah. And now leading from that, what do you look for most in an athlete that you're interested in recruiting?
Well, like for us, like at our level, we're looking for guys that, we want them to be projectable and that fit into the system that we kind of run here. But it's also, we're looking for the guys that like slip through the cracks. Like we want, the old saying is like Division III players don't win in Division III. So like we want the kid that's a D1 player that has lower grades, or he was, ran a 6.9 60 instead of a 6.6. He was a tick slower, or he was 80 to 83 in high school instead of 87 to 91. You know what I mean? And it's just, but if we get a kid with a good build that's projectable, maybe he can be 87 to 91 by the time he's a junior. So it's just about finding the right fit. We don't have the luxury of like opening up the perfect game, top 100, and just calling the first 10 kids and locking up our recruiting class a year ahead of time. We have to hunt, and we have to, we have to be where other people aren't, and we have to be in some really random, obscure places at times to try to find just one guy, to come in and fit. And with that, if you look at our roster, like we have a couple guys from California, one guy from Nevada, one from Florida, one from Pennsylvania, you know what I mean? And then we have like our core group of guys locally and around New England. So it's just about finding the right fit. But like, we want real good players. We want, borderline Division I players that for whatever reason had to leave that school because they were blocked, or just, it didn't work out, it didn't fit. But that's the type of talent we're looking for. It's just a matter of, how do we get them here? So like I said, it's if they're a tick slower, or, or maybe they're 5'9", 170, and they have, everything you look for in a player. It's just they don't have that Division I build. But great, we bring them in and develop them in our program and, see how good they want to be. It's also really, honestly, at our level, it's about finding the right kind of kid. You can take the most talented kid in the world, and if he's not motivated and doesn't love the grind that it takes to be great at this level, it's not going to work out. You're better off taking a kid who's a little slower, doesn't have as good an arm or as much power, but loves to work and wants to see how good he can be. That's the kids that we really look for.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate how in-depth you went with that. Now, in baseball, have you recruited kids and ended up changing their position from something, or do you usually let them recruit based on their position?
No, to be honest, like I think positions, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but we're just looking for like the best athletes, and like you have to hit. So we're looking for good hitters, and it's like, we try to recruit the middle. So shortstops, you can kind of move them anywhere. Center fielders, if you can play center, you can probably play left or right, and you always need catchers. So not that you don't recruit corner guys, but you're looking for the best athletes you can get your hands on. And then, ideally you'd like all three infielders to be shortstops and all three outfielders to be center fielders in a perfect world, but it's obviously not a perfect world. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's just, you were just looking for, you got to get your best 9 bats in the lineup. And, a lot of times the best athlete in high school plays shortstop or center, and, you bring them in, and then you might have 2 guys ahead of him on the depth chart. He becomes a left fielder. The other guy becomes a second baseman, and off you go. So just about getting the best 9 bats in the lineup for us.
Yeah, sounds good. Now, do you have some coaches on your staff that you trust to do some recruiting for you, or do you like to be hands-on and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm really hands-on. Like the first few years, I've done all the recruiting. Coach A-Rod, this is his first year. He played here for 4 years, so he's our pitching coach now, and he's jumped in with both feet, and he's been a huge help on the recruiting trail. And Coach Smith chips in, covers some things. He's helped us get a couple of real good players in this class. So it's, a couple of our guys have been helping out because I can't be everywhere. So the more help we can get, the better. But like at the end of the day, I'm putting my name on it, and I'm sitting in the room and telling, your family and you, like, we want you to come here. You can be a huge piece of this. I want to have like seen you play, and I am like very hands-on with the recruiting anyway. So, and I really enjoy the recruiting. I think it's fun, like building the roster. That's why I like coaching college as opposed to like high school or something, because high school, you don't really have as much control over your roster. You have to take what you get. And here it's like, if we walk too many guys or we don't hit well enough, in the end, it's my fault. Like, I got to do a better job of recruiting. So I'm obviously heavily involved in it.
Awesome. I like to hear it. So you've been recruiting well. Yeah, I saw you guys were number 1 in the preseason rankings for your conference. If you want to speak a little on what expectations you have for the squad this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is my 5th year. The expectation's the same every year. We expect to win the league and we expect to compete in the NCAA tournament. And so that goal is the same every year. So the expectations are high for us this year. This is the best team that we've had. We expect to be in it right till the end. And, but that's no different than any other year. But it's definitely is something that is a priority for us this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What part, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what part of the student athlete do you deem the most important when you're recruiting? This could be work ethic, accolades, teamwork, their fit, everything from that.
I mean, you were just looking for like good kids that play the game the right way and that play their tails off and work hard and like are willing to do the little things in the off season that really take ownership of their development. And at the end of the day, you never really know what you have until you get the kid in your program, but you want to be around good people. And like, I think we've done a really good job of that here. It's like across the board, up and down the roster, great group of kids. And, every coach says that, but I mean, I really believe that. I love our guys and they all play their tails off and they've done everything we've asked them to do to be ready to go. So we got a really good group this year.
Yeah, love it. I'll be excited to watch. And now my final question for you, everything's changed with COVID. So have you had any transfers come in that had already graduated from a school, but were granted an extra year of eligibility? Or how's that work?
We haven't had any transfers, but we've been able to keep guys for that 5th year. And so last year we were able to, and this year, and it's just, we've been able to keep the core of our team intact, maybe a little longer than a normal 4-year cycle, which has been huge for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.